Welcome to Talking Twaddle, a Better Being Me podcast, the podcast where we unpack the neurodivergent experience, not just in theory, but in all its messy, beautiful, everyday reality. I'm Joanne Hatchard, and I'm here because I believe something important. Your story might feel deeply personal and even isolating, but it's not unique. That might sound strange at first because in the thick of it, when you're feeling like an alien at the window, disconnected from your body, or like you're constantly just one step outside of belonging, it feels so personal, like no one else could possibly understand. But here's the thing, those exact feelings, they're shared over and over again across this beautifully neurodivergent community. So this podcast isn't about highlighting one way to be or do neurodivergence right. It's about making space for all of the common threads in our story, the ones that remind us we're not alone, we're not broken, and we're not doing this by ourselves. This is our journey, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's get into it. I want to say a massive welcome to Leonie Dawson, who has so graciously given me an hour of her time. For those of you who are not in the know, this human is an amazing on so many different levels. I love how in your emails you list who you are by bullet point and then all the glorious things of international bestseller, international author, the serial entrepreneur, the founder of the Brilliant Biz and Life Academy, which has been supporting and helping, what are you up to, 1 million people yet? Or you're well on the way?
No, it's only 5,000 members currently, but that's fine. It's fine, honestly.
It'll get there.
Yeah.
It's always good to have goals ahead of time, right?
This is true. This is so true.
And not only that, you're also a mum of 2 beautiful daughters. You're an artist, a creative writer, a little bit of a saucy writer from what I saw.
Yes, indeed. That was I've been writing goals workbooks for years. And then during pandemic, I was like, let's write some erotica.
Waka waka. No, sorry.
Exactly that. Oh,
That's you reside in the beautiful Sunshine Coast on, is it Gubby Gubby land?
Yeah, that's right. Gubby country. Yeah.
Beautiful. We're in the Ghana country here. And you are also a out and proud neurodivergent woman.
Of
ADHD,
course. Like,
autism. Not that you have to list the things, but you have, so I shall.
Yeah, ADHD and autism, the perfect double, the double topping of deliciousness. And of course, I just don't think when you look at what I've been able to create, like that's not going to have come from neurotypical person. Do you know what I mean? Like the statistics are very high in terms of entrepreneurs and creatives being neurodivergent. So it's like the success and innovator brain, really.
Oh, 100%. I think what I see when I look at the amazing things that you are doing, it's like the Renaissance woman. You are the Renaissance woman. When you touch things, this is what my focus, I'm going to develop this and I'm going to share it. And then I'm moving on. I'm doing the thing, I'm getting it right. And then I'm going to the next thing because this is what takes my fancy. And that's what the Renaissance period was about, wasn't it? The exploration, and there wasn't the corporate sitting down doing the 9 to 5. It was out in the world doing the things that took your fancy.
Yeah, basically. I'm just not somebody who can just talk about the one thing forever. It's going to be just a combination of the things that I'm interested in at that point in time. And I love to, it's a typical neurodivergent thing. I get excited by something, I dive completely in head first, and I read 50 books about the same topic and just subsume myself with information and then try it out, test it out, experiment, see what works, and then share and teach what I learn along the way about those experiences.
Fantastic. Hello, I'm Joanne Hatchard, founder of Better Being Me and creator of Be Me Completely. For years, I worked with families across Australia, helping them understand and support their neurodivergent children. But what I've seen over and over again is a growing number of women silently screaming for help. Women who've spent their lives adapting, masking, and trying to keep everything together, only to realise that they've lost themselves in the process. This is why I've created Be Me Completely, an 8-week program designed specifically for late identifying neurodivergent women. I help you reclaim your identity and embrace who you are, Come with me as we peel back the mask and learn to feel comfort in the world. This isn't about fixing yourself. You are never broken. This is about putting your needs on the table, recognizing your strengths, and learning to live in a way that works for you. Join me for 8 weeks of support backed by a lifetime of access so you can finally remember who you are, because my life is better being me and your life is better being you. Thank you very much for your time. And I was so excited to see that you have recently released your next workshop for the ADHD and Autism Business and Productivity Success.
Yeah, it's just, I think the last few years have really brought an enormous explosion of awareness of people going, oh, but that's me. We thought autism and ADHD looked like something else. It was either the hyperactive young white boy or the Sheldon character. And recognizing that a lot of our cultural understandings of those brain types are based on young white boys, because that's what all the research is on, and discovering that it looks completely differently for people who are assigned female at birth. And yeah, it's so much wider and deeper than that. So it's been exciting to see more people recognize it. I'm 10 years into my first diagnosis, and I just know that more and more people ask me, like, oh, how do you do all those things with the brain that we have? And I've amassed like an enormous amount of tools and systems to help me get there. So I'm happy to share all of those.
Ready to blep it all out. It's amazing. And I think when we look at that past diagnosis criteria of a lot around children and the white male, it was all based on observation. None of it was done from an internal lived experience. It was all what the behavior was that we could observe as a scientist and then marked and checked and compared. So none of it had that dimension of what it was as a lived experience to explain what was happening on the internal. And that when we're moving into dissociation and a shutdown, it's not that our brain has stopped, it's that our responses have stopped. So those layering and bringing that back out and that expanding the idea and understanding, I think has been hugely beneficial. It has created that platform where people like yourself can start to share what that lived experience and that internal experience has been.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, like when you realize you're neurodivergent, you realize like a lot of productivity advice is actually just not going to work for you. There's a lot of advice out there about life and business and everything. It's written for a different system. It isn't going to work the same way that we work. I think I'm like in the multi-millionaire category of businesses now, and the vast majority of people think that the way to get there, and for the vast majority of neurotypicals, the way that they do it is by doing a lot of travel, a lot of hours, and a lot of conferences, a lot of in-person stuff. And that's never been something that's called me, and it's something that's just going to absolutely break me. So I built my business in a way that works with my gifts and not against them. So I have a really long no list. Like I really remove a lot of the things that like take a lot of energy from me. I don't travel, I don't leave the house. Like I have a very small life, but from that small life, I can create big things.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're wasting or placing energy on, say, the travel and huge amount of transitions in any travel, either via car or via airplane, like any of those things, huge amount of transitions that get brushed over rather than calculated into. If you're placing the energy there, you won't have it to create the things.
Yeah.
Unless that travel is something that fills you up and sparks you with joy instead of depleting you, then why?
Yeah.
What is the point? Where is the value in that exactly?
Exactly. And also like recognizing there's a time cost to it. And the time is not just the 3 days away at a conference. It's how long it takes you to recover from it. And neurotypicals do not understand that recovery process. And they don't understand, for me, it's going to take at least a month before I feel like myself again. It's just how it is. And there's been things that have definitely helped to reduce that processing time and that period of, oh, fuck, I'm so overstimulated. But recognizing that it's my time period of recovery is just exponentially larger than a neurotypical.
Yeah. And not only the recovery, but the lead up, like the anxiety, energy, waste. I don't know how many times you have to go to the toilet before the plane goes, but I can count. I know when I walk in and find my gate, then I find the toilet and I calculate how long it takes to walk from the toilet to the gate. And then when they call it's time, the gate's open and people line up, I'm like, that's my cue to go to the toilet, because then by the time I'm on the plane, and I think about it way too hard about if I can go to the toilet when the plane's on, like not taken off, but just waiting. I think about that way too hard.
I saw this like meme today. It was like a tweet. Somebody said this. I think what I might do is just be the world champion of overthinking. Is that weird? That sounds weird though. I think that might be too weird. Do you think it's weird? Just like this immediate like descent into overthinking.
Yeah. I went, I don't even know why I did this, but I calculated how many thoughts I was having at the one time.
Oh,
And I got to 12, but then I forgot to count the one that was counting. So I've got 13 streams.
Yeah.
And I shared that with my partner once.
Oh,
and he was
really?
like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what do you do when you're not thinking? He's like, what do you mean? It's just silent. There's nothing there. I'm like, hang on a second.
Wait, hey now, what's going on?
Whoa.
I also like to count like the number of channels that are playing, because often there is one or two songs going, a TV show going as well, and then just this other like talkback radio going on in my brain.
No.
Yeah. So for a while it was like I watched the Eras concert with my kids like months ago, just at home. I'm not going out.
Not going to the actual
I'm
thing.
so sorry, but that's not for me. We lay in that bed and watched it all together. And they were like, I can't believe this. Is this all she's going to do? She's just going to sing this whole time. I'm like, that's correct. Could you imagine actually being there? And everyone's singing around you. And you can smell everyone. For us,
and you don't know where the toilet is. Toilets are a big thing.
Not for us, Kirsty. Not for us. So yeah, like ever since then, it's been like 4 months. And so there's obviously a Taylor song going on in the background of my head, and then usually a New Girl TV show, and it's just it's all happening.
Yeah. New Girl I just finished watching recently. So
oh, really?
Fresh.
It is such an autistically ADHD coded TV show.
Oh my goodness me. Yes.
It's so great.
I'm a little bit Schmidt, I have to say.
You love Schmidt.
I think I'm a little bit Schmidt. You know how you're like, oh, who are you? A little bit Schmidt.
My husband and I are definitely like Nick and Jess. Like, okay, I see what's happening here.
Yeah. I do end a lot of my sentences with a song, so that's a little bit
jazz too. Yeah. And if somebody like says a few words that are the lyric of a song, you know where it's going. You cannot go and
stop it.
Not complete it.
No. There's the Bartman. Not intentional, just keeping the flow, fixing test scores to get the best scores. Anytime. So if you ever hear not intentional, you know what's happening in my brain.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yep. Just holding yourself back. Do you watch Miranda? I think also Miranda is very autistically coded.
I haven't watched that one, but I do love her as an actress.
Oh my God.
The guy in it is Lucifer. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I think Lucifer has put him on show nicely.
Yeah. I just knew him when he was just Gary and Miranda. Yeah.
Look at him.
You will love Miranda, by the way. That's your like next obsession, I promise you.
Good. When I'm going to sleep, I watch Psych. I don't know if you need a bedtime something to put you to sleep.
Just some erotic novels, that's all.
They don't send me to sleep. They wake me up a little bit too much.
I feel that.
But yeah, Psych I watch so often that my son, who's 9, can sing the theme song.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love the fact like with Billie Eilish has the Office TV
Mm,
show playing on her phone constantly, no matter
no.
what she's doing.
Yeah,
And it's just like background noise to her. And it's just like a little comfort watch.
yeah. You need that. You need that little space in the world. There was one I used to watch Stranger Than Fiction, but mainly just the scene where he brings all these flowers and he said, I brought you flowers. Oh, that makes me cry every single time, but I think it's hilarious.
Oh, that's beautiful. Meanwhile, I'm up to like number 187 of watching You've Got Mail
Yeah.
again. I can't watch. Oh, feeling a bit moody, feeling a bit hormonal. I guess I'll
Yeah.
just be watching You've Got Mail again.
Yeah. If I'm angry, I watch Expendables because they just blow shit up and cut bad guys in half. And it's really clear who the bad guy is. Not really no double crossing or anything. They're the
Yeah.
bad guys. We're going to kill them and we'll get the girl and it will all be good.
Oh, perfect. We love that
Yeah.
simplicity.
Yeah. Yeah. Blow shit up. Feel better. Fantastic.
I love that.
One of my friends, Cherie Hampton, she's been following you and part of your community for I think for almost 10 years, she said.
Oh,
If not,
yay. Oh, that makes me
so
so happy.
yeah, you've got a long list of people that have joined your community and just stayed there. I think it's the authenticity that you bring. Like I was going to say there's no shits and giggles. No, they're all shits and giggles.
It's all 100% shits and giggles. There's just no smoke and mirrors
No
attached.
smoke and mirrors, all shits and giggles. I think that's a beautiful tagline.
Yeah. Yeah, I like having those really long-term relationships with people. Getting to share my journey for a long period of time is such a blessing. And when I get to meet people in person as well, it's just such a joy. It's joining the friendship at long last because they already know who I am. But I know because they resonate with me that they're my kind of person. And so it is like a genuine relationship. I remember like my accountant was like, usually in a business, we count like customer life cycle in the space of months in terms of somebody finding out about your business, buying from your business, and then exiting your business. And
Mm,
he said, you've got an enormously sticky business. We wouldn't count it even in years. It's counted more in decades because we just people who buy from me stick around and keep buying and keep in the community and their life changes and my life changes and we get to share that changes as we go along and it's such a blessing.
mm. Yeah, not just for you, but also your community and all of that as well. Did you find that your diagnosis helped you not present to the community, but find your kin, find your neurokin because you had that information now. You can let go some of the masking that I don't know about your actual experience, but from what I've seen, I don't know if there was a lot of masking
There
happening.
was no masking going on anyway, like pre-diagnosis. Like obviously there's a part of me that's conditioned to social, but in terms of my expression of self, it's always been pretty authentic. And like I didn't hide back the weirdnesses. And that's purely because when I was like 14 in high school, I looked around and really clearly saw that that it was a game and that I could try and pretend to be something that I'm not in order for people to like me. But if I did that, and even if I managed to win the game, which I couldn't, I knew I didn't have those skills, I still wouldn't be happy because I'd look at like the most popular people in school and they weren't feeling super confident. There was this sort of feeling of, oh God, I hope nobody finds me out. So I thought it could be that. And even if I become most popular, I'll still be miserable.
Mm,
Or I could just be all of myself completely and have the most fun and be my own best friend. And there's going to be a lot of people who don't enjoy that, but it won't matter because I'll just love me anyway. I'll get
yeah.
to be my own best friend and just have the most ridiculously fun time.
Mm.
And so I just committed to the weird and I kept getting weirder.
Just let the exponential growth go from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what
And
a
like,
realization to have at 14. That's no small thing.
no, it's not. Like there, and there's been like a few of those moments. You're like, oh, they're very formative. Like I remember maybe being 6 or 7 and having this dream that I was just floating through space through all of eternity and thinking, oh, holy fuck, this is so lonely.
Mm.
And then I was like, it's only lonely if I'm not with my own best friend. And I could be with my own best friend. We can just have the most fun adventure for all eternity together. Let's do this. Let's have the best fun. And yeah, it was a pretty good decision, I think.
One of the mottos of when you're trying to ignore processing of information, you're like, I'll just hightail it out of here. I'm like, that's great, but you're going to take you wherever you go. So if you're
Yeah.
an asshole here and you don't like yourself, you got to be an asshole over there and you don't like yourself. I think your way is much better of actually, I really like myself and we're going to be best friends for life and let's go from here. Then you
Yeah.
can be wherever or nowhere and still
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah. And I think what's happened is like with my diagnosis is like, I didn't consider not sharing it publicly with the world. I was like, once I was comfortable with it, of course I wanted to share it with the world. And for me, it was less about like, then my tribe changes to people who are neurodivergent. It was more like a lot of people in my audience were like, oh, but I really like Leonie. She's really cool and she reminds me of me. And that's so weird that she would be neurodivergent. And then I shared more about that process. And
use your academy as pre-screening to any formal assessment and just go, what do you think of this?
yeah,
Yay or nay?
yeah,
Turn
like,
down
yeah,
significantly.
yeah, yeah. It's a contagious diagnosis, right?
And I think it's perfect that not someone like you, but you have gone through that journey and embraced it so transparently, more than translucent, transparent, so that somebody else has got something to hang their hat on. You're not standing on the shoulders of giants. You are the giant that others are standing on.
Well, I
And
think I'm also like I'm indebted to because how it happened to me is the same way in that in the space of a year, 3 really good friends got diagnosed with autism. And I was like, what the fuck? This is so weird. But these people are really cool. And like I communicate better with them than I do with most people. I totally get these people. This is weird. This is like an epidemic. And then I was like, no, to be a good friend, what I'll do is I'll research more. And I'm really lucky that
that's not an autistic trait at all.
I'll just research how to be a more supportive friend. And because my friends had been open and honest about the fact that it looks different in women, and some of them were sharing like the checklist created by women like Tanya Ann Marshall and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, I need to look for the traits of women. And so like when I looked at that list, it was just like, oh, that's my whole fucking life. That's every part of me that I thought was deeply unique and intrinsic to me is actually not at all. It's just my brain type.
The combination of all the things are unique to you, yes, but there is a shared experience.
Yeah, very shared experience. So shared. All the things are like the fact that I thought it was just quirky and cute that I didn't have friends until I was like 12 years old because I was too busy being best friends with my dog.
That's all right. I had a
But you know what?
situational best friend then. So it was the girl across the road. She had no choice. It was me or nobody.
That's right. That's right. You know what? This is your option, and I've
Yeah.
decided for you.
When she got other options,
Dating.
but yeah.
Devastating. Not. Yeah, let's hunt her down. No, just kidding.
No,
Dead to me.
okay.
I don't know. I don't need to know her name, but I just need you to know that she is dead to me forever.
That sounds good. Actually, I was only listening to the Cabbage Patch Kids soundtrack the other day because we used to dance around the living room and that made me happy. I still know all the words.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Just these quirky things that we were just like so individual just to us. And the fact that like I thought I was a fucking genius because I thought to myself, other people know how to socialize. You know what I'll do? I'll watch them and I'll copy them.
Yeah, we're brilliant actors.
So good at this. And in fact, I still have one of my friends who that I met in high school, and she is neurotypical, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Good on her, but she is such a thoughtful person. And so for 25 years, I'm just like, what does Lena do? Okay, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down in my little notebook of how to be a thoughtful human.
I'll just take that note.
That.
Thank you very much.
And she knows that I've told her. I was like, that's actually stellar modeling. Thank you so much.
It's good. This is how we learn. I
Yeah.
tried. I did try and be the popular girl for a little while. Didn't work very good. It maybe lasted one night.
Look, you gave it a red hot shot.
Yeah, no, I became overwhelmed and overstimulated and burst into tears. And they didn't know why. So that was like, no, she's just a little weirdo. Let's put her back down again. Thanks for playing.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that. It's a big thing.
Yeah. It's, oh, Joanne, you did so good.
So good. One whole night. One whole night.
That's amazing, right? But, you know, so
Yeah.
I perfected the eyebrow and the dimples
Ah, yes.
and my handshake. That's what I focused on. I don't know about you, but
Oh my God. The things that you've got to do. Like the eye contact was definitely like the big one. This
oh,
is my interested face. And the joy is I've discovered that people think I'm a very funny person. And I don't think I'm that funny. It's just that I say really blunt things and they think I'm being funny.
yes.
But if you giggle at the end of it, they think that you're in on the joke.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just a nervous habit that I've got.
That's right. Everything like you think what I'm trying to say is incredibly funny. I've actually just thought I was just being honest and
Yeah.
just saying something factual.
Yeah, I went from sarcasm. I went for sarcasm rather than funny
Yes.
because I think my delivery was a little bit just deadpan. I didn't
Yeah.
actually know that. Yeah. And then I embraced the sarcasm to a level of horrible bitchiness and I had to bring it back again. Like, all right, that went too far. People don't actually find that funny anymore. Let's
Yeah. Scale it back. Scale it
yeah.
back. Yeah, I feel you. I feel
Mhm.
you. I'm always going over the line. My old boss used to she just used to yell so many times, Leonie, the line was back there. And I was like, and I just didn't think the line was any fun. You know what I mean? Let's just keep going. But you know what? It's on her because we are still friends 20 years later. And I think I'm the light of her life.
You're the entertainment. I'm happy to play that role as well. The one where you brought in for light entertainment and then forgotten about for a little while and then brought back in for light entertainment. That suits
Yeah.
my level of charisma.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. With a personality higher in the group.
yeah, yeah. There used to be this thing where, oh no, Joe's out of charm. Let's go.
Nice.
Once the charm was gone, it was just all on for long.
But it works well, right? Because I don't know about you, but I've got like really low social needs. I can go just months and months without seeing anyone, and I feel
Yeah.
completely fine with that.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to warn friends, you're not going to see me for ages. And it's not that I don't love you because I'm obsessed with you, but this is all I got.
Nice that you come with a warning. I like that.
I don't want
I
them to
don't.
think that I'm like not like hanging out with other people. I am not.
I do get jealous of my friends having friends. Do you find that?
Oh, for sure. I always want to be number one. I don't want to actually have to leave the house or do anything to retain that number one position, but I still want to be number one.
Yeah, just default one. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I deserve that space.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have the giggling will stop eventually, but probably not. One thing that I found it was that helped me embrace the neurodivergence. My stories around my son being formally diagnosed and me recognizing and identifying through research
Mm.
because everybody needs a little research buddy. And then I fell in with the cool crowd of the yellow ladybugs. So that kind of springboarded my development of my Neuro King community, which has been fantastic. And life is just so much easier when you've got a gaggle of people that will just get the stuff. Just go from there. Just go from there. But there was a huge amount of letting go of expectations and really recognizing that the tension that I'm bringing to my life and to my family was that I was holding steadfast onto an expectation that didn't match my ability, my brain, my need. It was just some kind of appendix from years of long ago. How have you found letting go of those expectations?
I think like when I've had my first kid, that was really brutal to discover. This is pre-diagnosis, but I didn't understand why. I was just so physically touched out and so like why I did not cope so hard with your whole, especially like the disrupted sleep. That was really killer for me because I'm somebody who deeply relies on sleep in order to be okay. And large swathes of sleep, like 10 hours a night, is noise for me.
Uninterrupted would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just didn't understand why it was just so hard for me and excruciatingly painful physically and emotionally to go through that. And when you look at it back through the diagnosis, you're like, oh, of course, that's why. And I don't have to compare myself to a really unfair standard. And I can build a life that works for me and how I work. And that's not going to look like what other people's lives look like. I'm not going to lead like a really busy life that other people do because I don't have it in me. I'm not going to be somebody when you go, what's your weekend plans? I'm not going to be like, oh, we've got soccer training and then we've got this and then we've got a barbecue and then we've got that. And fuck no, that's going to
No.
make me want to die. I much rather having nothing on weekends at all. And though that's time for gentleness, for rest, for family time, for playing board games, play Mario Kart if we go wild. A low stimulant life is the right one for me. And I just trust that my kids will receive whatever gifts they like out of that, recognizing that there's a million ways to have a family and they'll get whatever gifts they can out of it. But there's no other way that I can be.
And that's amazing. So many of so much so many people that I connect with, it's motherhood that has been the pivotal change. That's when all the coping mechanism, I don't know about you, but my coping mechanisms was smoking, drinking, and having sex. When kids come along, that all dropped away, and I wasn't
Mm.
left with any coping mechanisms
Mm.
that were sustainable. And that's when overwhelm just brings you down so hard. It would be interesting to see, and I think there's newer research coming out at the moment, the postpartum versus undiagnosed autism. I
Mhm.
think there'd be a fairly strong correlation between the two.
Oh, that's a big one. That's massive. You're absolutely right. And even in my ADHD diagnosis, the psychiatrist, he talked for me for like maybe 20 minutes and then he wrote up the report. And he was like, Leonie had like really strong coping mechanisms in terms of overachieving and in terms of a lot of downtime and quiet regulation time. And then after having kids, her emotional regulation completely ran out and she no longer had that buffer there. And so she couldn't cope. I think when I talk to other parents, neurodivergent parents, for many of us, we can seem to keep it together until we get the kids. And then our executive functioning is so fucking tapped out from trying to keep children alive that
Yeah.
we hit rock bottom of our
Yeah.
capacities.
And executive functioning is one of the first things to go whenever we're stressed or overwhelmed. That's going to be the quickest thing to go and the most impactful because people notice when you're shit at the executive functioning stuff. And that's when they come up with a whole bunch of new advice of just try harder.
Thank you so much. Thank
Mm,
you so much, Mum. I really appreciate that advice.
love that for you.
And isn't it interesting? I'm the first one in my family of origin to get diagnosed. And there's definitely, I found, um, this kind of feeling that other people don't want you to get diagnosed, especially the late diagnosed, because it means what are they missing in themselves? And also, how did they not see it? And I thought it was really interesting because when I went through the autism diagnosis, one of my parents decided to write a letter to say how very much I didn't have autism and try explain it in a different way. And I talked to my psychologist about it, the diagnosing psychologist, and she says, "Oh no, it's actually written into the testing process that we will have one quite outsized reaction from a parent, and they will attempt to sabotage the process."
Oh, that's good
So
to know.
isn't that really helpful to know? That's so helpful. And I was like, oh, okay, glad we ticked that off.
Yay.
And
Moving
yeah,
on. Look at you ticking all the boxes.
I know. And it was just really fulfilling when you come back after 3 hours of testing. And then like the process I went through was quite intensive. So my parents did questionnaires. One of my closest friends had a phone call about like with the psychologist as well.
Mm.
So it was quite in depth. And then when they come back with the score and they're like, oh, you needed 60 in order to be diagnosed and 60 points, and you've got 140 points. And I'm like, yay, well done me.
Look at me overachieving in yet another area.
Tick, A plus, A plus autistic.
See, Dad should be so proud.
Yeah, that's right.
It's confusing when the general populace think, oh, they're just going to get an autism diagnosis because we're on trend. It's not
Yeah.
like a fucking, oh, wake up in the morning and go, what should I do today? I've got an extra 4 hours of my soul sucking. Let's check that in with the psychologist and see what shit they can bring up. It's not just a spur of the moment thing.
No, it can't be because it's like the 18-month wait list. I can get diagnosed. It's very expensive. You can just get a fringe cut if you really wanted to just be on trend.
So much easier ways to be trending. There's
Yeah.
like even an app, I'm sure, with trending audio. You could just sit and swing with that.
Yeah. And also the evidence shows that if you like self-diagnosis is very valid and it's like really unheard of for people to self-diagnose with this and for it not to be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not often that you get the misdiagnosis of self-diagnosis because you doubt yourself so much that you go back into it and that, what is that complex that I've just taken from my brain?
Munchausen, maybe?
No. I don't know that one, but no, that one.
Hypochondria?
Imposter syndrome. That's the one.
Oh, imposter. There we go.
Yeah. The imposter syndrome can be crippling. And what I have found, and you seem to have magically bypassed this piece somewhere along the line, that's the bit that stops me from creating the things. Like I've got the ideas and then I'm like, oh, who's going to want that? Or maybe I've just got the wrong end of the stick. All of that social story stuff that you've got in your head because you've heard so often, oh, Joanne, you're full of shit, or you're just talking twaddle, which is why I call my podcast Talking Twaddle.
Perfect. That's why my podcast is called Leonie Dawson Refuses to be Categorized, because don't tell me what this is about. I'll do whatever I want.
How dare you bring me boxes? I
That's
shall not be in them.
No, I shall not.
But I think it's your experience that you've gone at such a young age, at 7, you've gone, I'm going to be my own best friend. That drops a whole level of bringing on social expectations. And then at 14, you've gone, I could play that game, but it's really long and the rules suck. And there doesn't seem to be collecting $200 anywhere. So why would I bother that? So you've magically reduced that inferior, like the imposter syndrome, which has allowed you to be on all of the stuff. That was,
Yeah. I think as well, it's just like pure evidence. So I've been creating and sharing for a really long time. And the thing I always know, it's always better to have created than to not. Even if nobody likes it, it doesn't matter because I actually went through the creative process and I'm bigger and wider and braver for having created it. I think it's a win-win-win all around. And also, what am I going to do? Not create stuff and just be fucking miserable? No thanks, not for me. It just doesn't seem like a logical decision to make.
Yeah. I like that. It's all
I'd rather spend all my time second guessing whether I should be doing it, or do I just want to do it?
Just do it and see.
Yeah.
I love that. And I tell the people that I work with, let's just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. But then when I come to throw my own spaghetti, I'm like, let me just test it first.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we just got to throw more spaghetti, I think, is the advice.
Yeah. And also, like, the thing I always remind people, it's like, it's actually not about you. You need to stop thinking so much about yourself. Think about the people who right now are suffering without the thing that you have to offer, whose life would be better if they could access that thing that you have to share. Think about them. If you've got like an armful of water bottles, you're walking down the street and somebody is so thirsty and they're just dying from thirst, you'll just give it to them. The same way with your gifts. There are people out there who are thirsty for what you have to offer. So stop fucking thinking about yourself and just do the thing. Offer up what you have with a glad heart.
That is beautiful. I like that.
It's easy, babes.
Yeah, I do like to think about myself quite a lot.
And if that's like really working for you, keep doing it. If
Mm.
it's not, though, maybe just try a different way.
Yeah. Fantastic. Oh, thanks. I did have actual questions. We're doing pretty
Yeah.
good. I'm getting there.
We're nailing this.
It's been amazing to hear because you grew up on the farm, and that would have been there are big assumptions that I'm making here, so correct me if I'm wrong. But a lot of that lifestyle is just suck it up, sweetheart, get it done, because the cows don't care that you don't want to get out of bed right now. That would have been a huge part of that formative years for you. How have you reconciled that kind of lifestyle versus what you've created?
I think there's obviously some massive blessings that come from that lifestyle. And even from a creative front, I often think about the fact that when I got bucked off my horse and landed headfirst in the dirt, my dad would come zooming up on his motorbike, dust me off, make sure there's no broken bones, and then be like, all right, back on the horse. I don't want you getting scared of riding horses. There's still stuff to be done. And the same way with the creative process, in that you're going to fall off your horse, but get back on the horse so you don't get scared of horse riding. So I think there's some really big lessons that come from that. And also there's parts that I didn't want to replicate, in that I didn't want to be so reliant on the weather, because it always seemed like the weather was destroying my dad's day or dad's life. He was just so angry about it fucking raining or it being fucking sunny. Like, whatever it was doing, it wasn't doing enough of it, or the right amount or whatever. So I didn't want to have my day ruined like that. And I also, at heart, I'm a very dreamy kind of person and not really into physical labor. So I wanted to create something different for myself. And because I experienced a lot of financial instability growing up, my parents worked really hard, but in terms of us being well off or financially stable, it was like, no, it was always on the brink of bankruptcy. A lot of primary industries tends to have those real, like, extreme drought and then abundant kind of harvest.
Yeah.
So I didn't want that. I wanted to do something different with my life. So I think it fueled me in lots of ways, in terms of like the lessons that it gave me, and also what I didn't want to create for myself as well.
Well, that's beautiful parameters. You can and you seemingly haven't gone, this pendulum swing where you go, this is what my parents did, and I'm going to do the exact opposite. It seems to have been, you've taken the lessons that you've liked from that, and then instead of going an extreme opposite, we've found some place in the middle, which is nice.
Oh, I'm glad that it looks like that. Awesome.
Well done. Good work. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And also, like, it's been like, I think there's been a part of me that's always wanted to be on acreage again and have
Mm,
horses again and things like that. But as my husband has like gently and not so gently reminded me over the years, oh, that's like really nice that you have that dream, but who's actually going to do the physical labor here about this? Who's actually going to be feeding the horses and dealing with the fencing and dealing with the stray animals and all that kind of stuff? Because you don't even feed the dogs. And it's true. I don't. I'm like a pampered princess.
you could go to a stud farm, like just for a retreat or something, and hang
Yeah.
out and then
Yeah.
go again.
Yeah. I think that's probably like the best
Yeah.
option here,
City
really.
slickers, here we come.
Yeah. My husband weirdly doesn't want to just be a servant to my dreams all the time.
What a drag.
I
Yes,
know.
the voice of reason is always very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always said I need animals that remind me that they are hungry, otherwise they will be dead.
Yeah, for sure. Or you just outsource that whole experience.
Not going to happen from my side of things. So how would you like that to happen?
Yeah. And I would love to be someone who could do that. It's just that experience has shown me that's not in my greatest skill set.
And even if so, for me, I find it's you have to keep doing it. Like I'm all right for maybe a week, but
Mm.
then
Every day, forever?
yeah, that's a lot.
Disgusting. Disgusting. I can't, yeah, I don't have that capacity.
No, not at all. My dad at one point wanted to be a dairy farmer. I don't like nature touching me. So we had a bit of this isn't going to work.
That's really sweet of him to have dreams, though.
That's
Like,
nice.
yeah, that's so cute for you. Maybe just keep a scrapbook of cow pictures or something.
Yeah, that's nice. We go to the Royal Show in Adelaide every year and we go see the cows getting milked and he talks about all the stuff that he did in high school and blah blah blah. I'm like, that's great, Dad. Let's go look at the baby animals.
That's right. That's right. Moo moo.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing. Bye bye.
That's really cute.
What would be your kind of, I don't know, did you want a message out to the neurodivergent world or are you moving into advocacy or are you just going to keep on doing your thing and see who jumps on board?
Yeah, no, 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 I'm not an advocacy girly. I am just somebody who keeps making shit and throwing them out in the world. And if people want to join that fun little journey, awesome. If not, I just hope you have the most delicious, scrumptious life possible.
That's beautiful. I like that. What is the biggest thing that's coming across from this side of the world is not the world. We're not on opposite. Anyway, screen. Um, like there's no harm, no foul. This is me. Get on board. Fantastic. Get off. No worries. No, whatever floats your boat. That's great.
Yeah,
But this is
like
what
there's
I'm
going to
doing
be
over
some
here.
people that this is yes for, and then some people like, whoa, hey, no, not for me. And it's like, I couldn't give two shits either way. Like, I'm celebrating either way. If more people want to join the party, cool. If people have other parties to go to, also cool. I just want people to have a magnificent life
Mm,
and get their needs met however they can.
yeah, beautiful. That's
Mm,
lovely.
mm,
Go you and your best friend.
that's right. We are the best twins on earth.
And did I see you married yourself at some point?
I did actually. I
Was that like
did.
a progression of the relationship that you started for like when you were 7 and then you went, we've been together for a couple of years now. When's it going to happen? What's
Forever,
going on?
forever. Yeah, it was when I was 21, I was really lucky to be inducted into a women's circle and with these beautiful mentors. And one of the processes that a lot of them went through was marrying themselves, making that commitment to love and honor themselves for the rest of their lives. And I was like, I can do that. We're already best friends. And so I invited two like strangers I met on a forum on the internet to come and stay at my house for the weekend. I'm a
Yep.
very
All right.
trusting person. And so they were like my goddesses of honor for the ceremony. And then my mentor Deb did the ceremony for me, and my husband, like, he wasn't my husband at that point, we were just partners, and he stayed home and cooked up a big feast, and then we had a big feast that night, and it was brilliant. It was perfect. What a great fucking celebration of life.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, did you have to divorce yourself to marry your husband, or was that okay?
No, polyamory is
Oh,
beautiful
beautiful.
to me. Yeah, it's a
Nice.
holy triad. Menage a trois.
Menage for life.
Symbiotic relationship.
Fantastic. I've just, oh my gosh. So now I've got like an image of two of you,
Yeah.
one wearing the dress and one wearing like a yellow one or an orange one, and
Yes.
getting walking down the aisle together. But who
Yes.
lifted the veil first?
Oh, both of us just in unison, perfect unison, because we're soulmates.
That's beautiful. Little
Yeah.
twin flames.
Yeah. The real twin flame. It's just yourself.
You can do that.
You actually get to make up all the rules for yourself.
Oh my goodness me. Yes. Ooh. Mm. That's a lot of responsibility.
It's delicious though. It's delicious.
My partner tried to feed me cream corn the other day out of the can. I'm like, no, that is, you don't eat cream corn that way. It either goes in soups, casseroles, or laxes. It's like, you make up a lot of rules. I'm like, these aren't rules. This is just common sense. This is just how life works.
I'm 100% on your side. I'm not, what are we, creamed corn?
Yeah,
That is an ingredient, not a food.
yeah, exactly right. I'm like, how did you miss this memo? I've got people on my side.
I co-sign. I co-sign it.
I will present it to the board and see if we can pass. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you have enjoyed yourself. I
Oh,
certainly
Joanne, you're a fucking delight. What a treat that we get to just sit here and chinwag and talk twaddle for this time. It's so
yeah,
sacred.
it is good. I love doing it. Yeah. And most of the time, all of the answers come out in the conversation. Like sometimes my brain still needs to go, you have to ask this specific question because you wrote it down. Honestly, most of the time, all the answers come out, just how the conversations meander through. And yeah, you get to tie it back however you want. So
Yeah.
it's
Life
been
leads you there.
amazing.
It's such a blessing.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Joanne. What a joy.
Thank you. It's been a really fun blurp, blurp, blurping.
Exactly. You've stolen the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's my gift.
Psychic. He's psychic.
Oh, do you have much else for the rest of the day?
Yes, my kid's got to go to after school acrobatics or some shit. Get her from school and then take her back for that. I've made a I've made a big mistake though, in that usually I sit there and I just work with headphones on, and that's like a great way to get through that.
Yeah,
But at the very first class in the term, I went and introduced
makes
myself
sense.
to everyone and got
Yeah.
really social for the first time. And
Mm,
now they all want to talk. And I love that, but also I should have set the precedent much later in the term.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
You can always walk in with the headphones now and sunglasses. Don't take the sunglasses off.
Yeah, and they won't recognize me.
No, they just can't catch your eye.
Oh, yeah.
They can't start a conversation if they can't look at you.
But what if I just wear a wig and glasses?
They might have questions about which child you're bringing or taking home.
Difficult. Difficult. It's hard because I really enjoy talking, and then it's
Mm,
also just like an extra energy tax. And I don't know if I've got the energy every week to pay the tax.
no, that's it. Oh, you could just have a post-it note. We're not taking communications today.
Yeah, just not today. Not
Mm-mm,
today.
no.
Oh, bless. What about you? Have you got much on?
Not today. I've got like social media stuff that I meant to be working on and putting out, and but honestly, I've got my metronome out and I might just sit and watch that for a little while. Have you seen?
Yes.
This is like one of the most mesmerizing little things you can sit and listen to. And you can just listen to that for a while and it brings me back in beat. So that's nice. I might do that for a little bit just to calm the fuck down.
Oh, golden. Golden. I will probably end up on a like with a weighted blanket on just over there and just watch a little bit of therapeutic TikTok.
Yeah, that might be good. Oh, I can go find Miranda.
Yes. Oh my God. Watch season 1. Yes.
That's the plan. That's the plan. I do remember I saw Graham New. Anyway,
Yeah.
I had Miranda, Greg Davies,
Oh my
and
God.
Rupert Everett
Oh my God.
on,
Dreamy. Oh my God.
and they were like, "Oh, you should get together and have babies." And like, on what basis? Because we're both tall.
Yes.
Like,
It's exactly why. Yes.
that
Yeah.
makes sense entirely.
Greg Davies is hot though. I like.
Taskmaster, I laugh out loud by
Mhm,
myself. It's
mhm,
hilarious. Like
It's
some
beyond.
shows, I only laugh out loud when other people are in the room and they've laughed because that
Yeah.
was my cue to laugh.
Yeah.
But Taskmaster, I actually laugh by myself without any
Yeah.
other.
I saw on Reddit somebody once asked, which celebrity do you find surprisingly attractive? And the top comment was Greg Davies. I would climb that man like a tree. And every time I see him now, I think accurate. Just so
Yeah,
graphic, isn't it?
it is a little bit graphic, but you would have to, wouldn't you? Because just scramble up. I
Yeah.
think I forgot what his TV show was called, but they had Rick Mayall as the dad. And
Oh
I
yeah.
loved that
Yes.
so
Watch
much.
that.
That was like my dream family to
Oh
be.
God, it was beautiful.
Probably not to be a part of, but just to watch because I think it might be
Yes.
traumatic otherwise.
God, it was mayhem. Mayhem. Was it Man Down?
Man down, I think you're right. Yes. Yes,
Mm.
yes.
God, good quality.
Yeah. Someone was talking about, we were talking about Inside Out and how gut-wrenching it was when the imaginary friend disappeared. I'm
Mm.
like, oh yeah, that's old school. You should watch Drop Dead Fred. That thing broke my heart. Did you ever watch
Oh,
Drop Dead Fred with
don't
Rick
think I
Mayall?
did.
No, that one. And Phoebe Gates. I think it was like one of her last movies
Oh.
before she went to motherhood full time. But yeah, that one was good because yeah.
What is it about British movies and neurodivergent people? Like,
Well, I think it's the humor because
mm,
it's not American
yeah.
canned laughter where it's
Mm,
pointed out and underlined and then put in bold that this bit is funny.
mm,
It's like you get to find the funny bits. That's the
it's just the best. It's our people. It's our people.
yeah, so many, so many.
Sometimes to really treat myself, I read Doc Martin fan fiction, like erotic fan fiction about Doc Martin. Why not?
Yeah, we watched that on the religious page, like regular. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fan fiction is a real gift to the world, I find.
It just allows so many things to happen. They don't
Like,
need the backstory for. They
well,
generally have it, but
exactly. And also it like stops me from having to make it all up in my head.
mm,
It's, oh, where else could this have gone? And like, oh, somebody's already really thought this through.
somebody's put time, energy, and effort into this. I may as well
Yeah.
embrace it and love it.
Yeah.
I think I'm a big fan of Anne of Green Gables, and when they brought out Anne with an E, where it's like a
Oh, yeah.
reimagining of the story, I'm like, oh, I do not know if I'm ready for this change,
Of course.
but I allowed it, and it was amazing.
Wow. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
It is a
Well,
lot.
yeah, because my son, who's Gilbert, was named after the 1970s
Oh my God.
Gilbert.
Perfect.
And
Level.
luckily, my partner's grandfather was also called Gilbert, so it was a family name, which I didn't know about. So
God. Thank
all the
God.
stars are aligning on me. Thank you very much. But then I felt a little bit awkward watching Anne with an E and having a younger Gilbert. And I'm like, this is inappropriate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to go back and watch the original, even though he was still young then, but it was like my time.
Yeah.
I was young then, so it's
Back
appropriate.
then it was fine. Yeah. It's like when I was like 16, like Dawson's Creek was on, and I was so obsessed with the show that I couldn't even watch it because it was too painful physically. And so
Yeah.
I would just watch it via commercials just to get idea, but just be so deeply invested.
Yeah.
And I remember my best friend was like, "You're really into this Dawson guy, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm going to marry a Dawson one day." Just so convicted. And then when I met Chris 2 years later, and it was like love at first sight, and then I find out later his last name is Dawson, and I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. That's my husband.
Beautiful. We
Mm,
manifested that long
mhm.
ago.
Perfect.
Yeah. I was a Jason Priestley fan over Luke Perry.
Oh yeah,
And then he was Canadian. So I'm like, oh, that's fantastic because Anna Green Gables Canadian and Gilbert Canadian. So I'm not entirely sure that I didn't do this deliberately, but I went to Canada and filmed Canadian.
of course you did. What else were you going to do?
I was there to finish my master's of social work, but this was like the last blip of my trip. And that just so happened 13 years ago. The stars aligned.
Exactly. See, we are manifesting girlies.
Yeah. I just need to focus a little bit better on what I'm actually manifesting and let go of the overthinking because I get that too.
But are you overthinking too much? I don't know. Is it weird? Am I overthinking?
I'll put a
Overthinking?
poll out and see what other people think.
And then think about it long into the night, not be able to sleep. Did I say that correctly? I'm
Did
not
they
sure.
understand what I was talking about? Do I need to go back and edit that and reword
Yeah,
it so it's actually
more
coming back
detail,
quickly?
more detail. But then is that
Mm.
too much? Does it look too much if I write too much detail in there?
If there's 5 options, that's too many, but 3 is okay. 4, no.
Yeah, yeah,
It's good to preempt the thinking so that when you go and do the things that it's easier.
exactly. I'm so glad that you understand this situation.
I could talk for hours, literally.
Me too. Me too. This is so fun. But I have to go pick up my children. Ugh, parenting.
Drain. At least they remind you when you're out there hungry.
Yeah, yeah. And can't they just walk home? Sure, it's across a motorway, but whatever.
They need to build resilience.
Look to the outside more. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Joanne, you're a friggin' delight. Please share when this is up. And if you could
Yeah.
share any images, if you just email us, then we can share it on like a blog post and social media and all of the shit and put it on our podcast page.
Beautiful. Amazing. I appreciate you and your time.
Oh, babes, you're a
We are
gem.
now
What did
best friends, by the way. Thank you
yeah,
very
I
much.
know. We're like actually connected heart to heart. I'm always late to the love story, but when I'm here, I'm fully invested.
Neurocan, kindred spirits.
That's it. Thanks so much, Joanne. Have a beautiful
Beautiful. Thank
afternoon.
you. Bye for
Bye.
now. If this episode has resonated with you, chances are it'll resonate with someone else too. Sharing the podcast is one of the best ways to help others who might be feeling stuck, unheard, or just needing a little nudge towards understanding themselves better. So if you found something useful here today, take a moment to share it. Send it to a friend, post it in a group, or even just screenshot it and pop it in your socials. Tag me so I can say thank you. If you haven't already, hit follow, leave a review, or rate the show. It makes a huge difference in getting this out to more people who need it. Your support means the world. Thank you for being here.